Hi, how's everybody doing today? Today I want to show you a little bit about outlets and as they apply to your audio systems, hi-fi gear. So there's a lot of people out there that think cables don't make a difference or outlets, power cords, anything, all this stuff doesn't make a difference. But at the really high level, when we're talking high fidelity playback equipment, um, they can resolve so much detail that they can resolve those differences. So one thing to improve the system, and it can be a noticeable difference, is an outlet. And it's also one of the cheaper things to do, so why not do it? If you spend a few $1,000s on an amplifier, why not spend $20 or $50 or more on an outlet? So that feeds your whole system. Anyway, so here's what I just wanted to show you a few of them. This is one of the outlets that came out of my wall. The parts, I don't even know that they're really attached together. Two prongs, so there's no ground, and it looks like it wouldn't hold on to a plug. Plugs are falling out of the outlet. No way I'm connecting my stereo to that. Here's another one. This is another outlet that was probably installed. My house was built in 1957, so that's probably when that was put in. Real crappy kind of thing here. Once again, not grounded. Really weak contacts. Barely could hold on to a plug. So those are gone. So the next step up here is from Leviton. This is a 15 amp outlet. So we've got side terminals here. The wire goes into the side. You can wrap it around there, or you can put it in there. Reasonably light. These come in a 10-pack for about a buck. They end up being about $1.70 an outlet. So these are my basic replacement outlets throughout the house. It's a huge improvement over this, but for non-critical applications like plugging in the alarm clock, a lamp, basic stuff like that, the vacuum cleaner, this one will be fine for that. Anyway, the next level up. So here we go to the 20 amp heavy duty outlet from Leviton. Now it's heavier when you pick it up. The terminals are or the body on it is got a lot more plastic on it. Then we have holes on the back. This one, by the way, to give you an idea on price, is about $650. You can tell it's 20 amp because it's got the little slot on the side here. But they also build the contacts a bit heavier duty, and it has a lot more. This is the heavy duty 20 amp too. There's a couple of them. You can get a regular 20 amp that looks kind of like this, or you can get the heavy duty. The heavy duty has really high contact pressure, so when you plug something in there, it's not coming out. You may not want these all around your house just because it is so hard to plug things into it. I mean, you can almost bend the terminals. It's so stiff. But if you have something plugged in, like I have these in my garage, I replaced my garage ones with this. So because there's an extension cord across the ceiling feeding my garage door opener, and it was almost falling out of the outlet. But this thing is like a wrench. It's going to hold on to it forever, or a vise, let's say. Anyway, we have a rear entry. So the wire not only can go around the terminal, but it can go into the holes itself, and you can tighten there. So it does make it easier when you're trying to get the outlet back into the box. It's also self-grounding, so you see the little copper strap here. If it goes to a metal box, and the metal box is terminated to ground, then it is grounded, and that's the case in my garage. That worked for that. Anyway, $650. This is still a far better solution if you're on a budget and you just want something cheap. Put one of these in for your stereo. Contact pressure is way higher, so you're not going to get any, like, they call it micro arcing. When it's just a really loose joint and there's like some metal touching all over, you're going to get little micro arcing, and some people think that causes noise in the outlet into your power. Anyway, next up, So here we go into what's called hospital grade, and you'll notice the smiley face. See, these kind of look like a scared face, or a surprised face, is upside down. That's because hospital grade, they're supposed to be like this, with the grounding pin up, so that if the plug is out of the outlet a little bit and something falls on it, it hits the ground, it doesn't short across the terminals. Just a little fun fact. In my house, I'm still going to put them like this, though, just because that's how everything is plugged in, or everything else around the house is. You know, I'm not working around an MRI machine or anything, just stereo equipment. So anyway, much heavier still than this one. This one is still reasonable. This one's about $8.80, I think, right around $9 for an outlet. Not bad. It has what's called an isolated ground, so there's no auto grounding with the copper tabs like these. You have to physically run a ground conductor to it. It has the ability to isolate your top and bottom outlets. You could actually run 2 separate lines of Romex to this, and you know, you can keep one for your digital, one for your analog stuff, you know, one for your amps, whatever, if you want to get nuts like that. But you've got rear entry, real heavy duty. This one's got some grip to it, and still reasonable. So that's a good option. That's Leviton hospital grade. Now between here and here is also a brand called HUBBLE, and they make some really good outlets too, which is actually what the PS Audio here is based on. HUBBLE outlet, they're in the the HUBBLE outlet is anyway in the $32 range or so. Hospital grade, heavy duty. The body is built really nice on here. You've got the rear entry. You've got this is an isolated ground, so you have your ground screw where you send that to your ground wire. You can ground it to the box or through your Romex line. I believe this is high purity copper, and then it's got 15 layers of nickel plating because they're trying to reduce corrosion, which can reduce conductivity over the years. This one has a really strong grip on it, and the PS Audio version is $50. So as far as audio tweaks go, this is a pretty cheap one to for your system. So if you spend $10,000 on your stereo or $50,000 on your stereo, $50 is really nothing to feed it well. Anyway, and if you buy them in the 5-pack, I think you get them for $200, so you get a deal. You get buy 4 get 1 free. Anyway, finally, the next one up, the last one here, is the AudioQuest Edison plug. This is the 20 amp version. At this level, that's all I would buy. I mean, you can put a 15 amp plug in, of course. This has the heaviest metal of all. It's really, not the music, but the thickness of the metal here is really heavy. The conductors are high polished and they're silver plated. And silver is the most conductive metal that we know of right now. More conductive than gold. A lot of people think it's gold, but they only use gold for oxidation purposes. There's more conductive metals. Silver being the best one. So even heavier duty body, these terminals will accept 8 gauge cable. I'm running 10 gauge to mine. I mean, 10 gauge will handle 30 amps of current, and that's a huge amplifier. So or a couple of them. So I'll be fine with 10 gauge, but really 12 would suffice, but they recommend running 10. So this one's $150. So this is up there. This is one of the top dogs. In between the PS Audio and the AudioQuest, though, there's a couple others from Wattgate that are gold plated, and they're just like really gold plated versions of these that I can tell anyway. They're using beryllium copper in the AudioQuest too, so it's supposed to retain its tension on the outlet for a lot longer. An outlet like this, in 15 years, it's probably not going to grip like it did when you bought it. But anyway, like I said, these ones are about 50, 60 years old, and they won't hold anything. They won't even hold a lamp cord from the alarm clock. So they did lose their tension. Anyway, sorry to go long-winded, but there's some outlets for you to check out. Consider replacing it. It's real easy. You just turn your breaker off in the basement, even if you're only spending $650. Grab one of these, plug it in, and see if you notice a difference. A lot of people that have done it have told me that they definitely notice. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.